The phone vibrated against the wooden nightstand, a low hum slicing through the quiet of the bedroom. It was 2:37 a.m., and the screen's glow cast jagged shadows across the ceiling. My heart thumped, not from the hour, but from the name flashing in the display. Elliot, my wife. The man she'd insisted was just a friend now, someone she met on weekends to get closure. My thumb hovered over the screen, heavy with a question I wasn't ready to ask. Why now? Why was he texting her at this hour? I didn't unlock the phone. Instead, I sank back into the mattress, the springs groaning under my weight, and stared at the ceiling fan lazily spinning above, its blades blurred like the storm of thoughts twisting in my mind. Sarah had been different lately, distant, laughter too sharp, her eyes skimming past mine whenever we spoke about her weekends. "It's just coffee with Elliot," she'd said last week, voice light but fingers twisting the hem of her sweater. "We're sorting through old stuff. You trust me, don't you, James?" The question had hung between us like a knife. I'd nodded. What else could I do? Doubt was slow poison, and I wasn't ready to drink. Now, in the dark, with Elliot's name burned into my vision, the poison tasted bitter. I rolled over, watching Sarah's chest rise and fall. Her dark hair sprawled across the pillow like ink spilled on paper. She looked peaceful, lips slightly parted, completely unaware of the storm inches away. I wanted to shake her awake, demand answers, but instead I slipped from the bed. The hardwood was cold under my bare feet as I carried the phone to the kitchen, its screen still glowing with his name. The faint scent of last night's curry lingered, dishes still stacked in the sink. I set the phone down, staring at it as if it might confess. My reflection in the dark window was hollow, unshaven jaw, empty eyes, a man unraveling. I told myself I was overreacting. People text late. Maybe it was nothing. A group chat, a work matter, a mistake. But the memory of Sarah's smile when she mentioned Elliot last week, bright, unguarded, the kind she hadn't given me in months, taunted me. I unlocked the phone. Her passcode, our anniversary, 0417. A quiet betrayal in itself. The message was simple. Can't stop thinking about you. Same time tomorrow. My stomach lurched. I scrolled up, the thread unfolding like a wound. Messages from weeks ago, months even. Miss you. You look beautiful today. Wish we could go back. Her replies were careful, vague. You're sweet, but we can't. But they weren't rejections. Not truly. Each word was a brick in a wall I hadn't noticed being built. I sank into a chair, the foam rattling against the table. My hands shook, not with anger, but with raw, aching confusion. Sarah wasn't a liar. She was a woman who cried at nature documentaries, who left sticky notes with doodle hearts on my laptop, who had promised forever under a starlit sky 3 years ago. How could she also be the woman keeping secrets, letting another man's words linger in her heart? I wanted to scream, to smash something, but instead I sat frozen, the refrigerator humming through the silence. The next morning, Sarah moved through the house like warmth itself, arms wrapping around me as she kissed my cheek. "You're up early," she said softly, oblivious of the fault lines cracking beneath us. I watched her pour coffee, humming, sunlight catching the gold in her hair. For a fleeting moment, I almost believed nothing had changed. Almost. "You got a text last night," I said, voice steady despite the tremor in my chest. "From Elliot." Her hand paused mid-pour, coffee dripping onto the counter. She didn't look at me, just grabbed a towel and wiped it carefully. "Oh," she said too casually. "What did it say?" I studied her, the flush creeping up her neck, fingers tightening around the mug, the words about meeting up tomorrow, same time. I kept my voice neutral, though every word felt like stepping toward a cliff. She laughed, a brittle sound that didn't reach her eyes. "He's probably just confirming our coffee. You know how he is, always texting late." Then she turned to me, gaze steady but smile fragile. "James, it's nothing. You trust me, right?" There was again that question, heavy with expectation. I wanted to say no, to spill everything, the text, the doubts, the hollow ache in my chest. But I nodded. Confronting her meant admitting the truth could destroy us. "Yeah," I said, tasting ash. I trust you. The day passed in a haze. I went to work, nodded through meetings, but my mind replayed the past months. The late nights she came home smelling faintly a cologne not mine, the lingering on her phone, the smiles at things I couldn't see, the excuses that felt scripted, each memory a puzzle piece, forming a picture I didn't want to see. That evening, I followed her. Not planned, not really. When she said she was meeting a friend for drinks, eyes darting away, I couldn't stay home. I tailed her car through the city, neon lights blurring past, knuckles white on the wheel. She parked outside a dim bar we'd never visited together. I watched from across the street, breath fogging the glass, as she stepped out. Her dress clung in a way that felt like betrayal. Elliot was waiting at a table by the window. He stood when she approached, hand lingering on her arm. Her smile, soft, unguarded, alive, was the one I remember from our early days. They leaned close, laughter cutting through the glass. The world tilted beneath me. My phone buzzed. Her text a lie. Running late, be home soon. I stared at it, words blurring, vision swimming. I could have stormed and demanded answers, but I didn't. I drove home, city lights streaking like tears across the windshield. When Sarah returned hours later, cheeks flushed, excuses vague, I said nothing. I let her kiss me, lie beside me, her warmth a cruel mockery of what we'd been. The next morning, I found a note in her purse, crumpled, forgotten, Elliot's jagged scrawl. I love you. Always will. Leave him. My heart stopped. Shattered. Sarah walked in, eyes widening as she saw it. We froze. The truth lay bare between us. James, she whispered, voice breaking. It's not what you think, but it was... As she reached for me, tears streaming, I realized the real betrayal wasn't her with Elliot. It was me, pretending I could keep loving her through the lies. I turned away. The note fell to the floor. I walked into the morning light, leaving her sobs echoing behind.